it's time to bring in our business guru. Kate Moody is here, starting off with some good news for UK's labour market. Kate.
Hi, Mark. The UK has reported a large and slightly surprising drop in unemployment. Official figures show that rate dropped from 7.4 to 7.1% in the 3 months ending in November. It means that the number of people out of work fell by 167,000. That's the sharpest drop since 1997, and it brings the UK to the lowest jobless rate since the beginning of 2009. It also brings the country close to the key 7% mark, at which the Bank of England says it'll consider raising its key interest rates from their 300-year low of 0.5%. The British economy has been picking up steam. Just yesterday, the IMF revised its forecast upwards, saying the economy would likely grow at a rate of 2.4% this year. Now, the UK's economy, not just the UK's recovery, but that of Europe and indeed the global economy, has been on the agenda in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Our business editor Marcus Carlson is there. He's been getting the views of Niels Andersen, the chief executive of Maersk, the world's largest shipping company. It's seen as a bellwether for global trade.
If you take Europe, the flows are definitely better. Imports are above last year, but in a part it's bouncing back because last year we saw a decline of 2.5% in imports into Europe. This year it's up 5%, so you can say over 2 years it's a growth of 2 to 3%. So it is very, very slow growth, but it is improving. If you look at the rest of the world, it's also relatively slow growth.
It sounds as if you're cautiously optimistic. Would you say that that is the sentiment among your fellow business leaders here in Davos as well?
Well, I wouldn't say we're cautiously optimistic. I think there's a general optimistic tone about it, and I think we are moving ahead in a new normalized situation where business is okay. So I think those who are competitive and strong companies will continue to do well, as they have, by the way, done in the last couple of years anyway. So I think it's relatively optimistic environment.
As we're seeing this sense of optimism then emerging here in Davos, as you say, are there any potential crises in your view that could eat into the optimism?
Of course, there's a risk of lower oil prices that will affect the oil companies, and we are also an oil company. So there are things, of course, you have to watch out for, and I'm sure everybody's are doing that. But I would say the big risks that we saw just a couple of years ago, I think people feel more comfortable about the situation now.
And we'll be getting updates from Marcus and the rest of the team in Davos throughout the week. If you have any special questions, you can tweet them with the hashtag F24Davos. Let's move on and take a look at the markets now. The UK's jobless data saw the pound sterling rise to a one-year high against the euro. London's FTSE, though, closed down a little bit, as did the DAX in Germany, the CAC 40 here in Paris ending the day in positive territory. A mixed picture on Wall Street too. The Dow Jones, as you can see, declining there, that in part because of some disappointing results from the computer giant IBM. That company's top executives said they would forego their bonuses for 2013 as sales lagged 5%. Now, after a 7-year-long standoff, a deal to close a Goodyear tire plant in northern France. Workers at the Amiens factory have been protesting against the closure for years, but have now accepted it, and this Wednesday signed a deal with Goodyear to improve their severance benefits. Earlier this month, in an effort to get their message heard, workers held their managers hostage in a boss-snapping incident that lasted over 24 hours. Unions say the agreement will triple payoffs for Amiens' nearly 1,200 workers, but will still leave them unemployed.
How do you think we feel? We've been fighting for 7 years. We've just managed to get tens of millions of euros from them. Otherwise, I have no comment. When you've lost your job, there's not much to say.
McDonald's has denied a report that it's hiding profits from a quarter of its 1,200 restaurants here in France in tax havens. According to the weekly magazine L'Express, the French Budget Ministry suspects the fast food chain of owing up to 2.2 billion euros in taxes since 2009 and channeling income through subsidiaries in Switzerland and Luxembourg. McDonald's admits that French authorities searched its main office outside of Paris in October, but called it a regular control procedure, and stressed that it's paid €1 billion in corporate taxes over the last 4 years. And finally, if you're a sports fan in need of some cash, you may want to fill out a March Madness bracket. Philanthropist Warren Buffett is offering $1 million to anyone who can correctly pick the winners of the 63 games in this year's men's college basketball tournament in the U.S. It's not as easy as it sounds. The tournament is notoriously unpredictable, and the odds of winning are said to be less than 1 in 4 billion. I don't know if you're a betting man, Mark, but I don't like those odds. I'll hand it back to you.
1 in 4 billion, that sounds like you, Kate. I think we should have a go at that. I'm feeling lucky.
Well, I'll try it. I'm a little out of touch with the college basketball scene. I have
Let's
to
just
say.
guess. Let's just
I'll
guess.
try.
It might work.
What can it hurt?
Kate Moody, thank you very much indeed, Kate Moody, with all the business there. Let's turn our attention now to other things here live in Paris. It's time now for Media Watch.